Oh my God. No. 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 Good morning, everyone from North Georgia. You might not be able to tell by looking at it, but it feels like fall out here in a pretty major way. The overnight temps last night got down into the 50s, so I'm gonna get out this morning, do a little mixture of road cruising, flipping, and hiking, and see what we can find. I have cruised a snake, or at least most of a snake. A little eastern garter snake who's missing quite a bit of his tail. It's always a nice start to the day when you incidentally cruise a snake on your way to the spot, but we'll just get this little dude out of the road. Not a very busy road, but not a road he needs to be sitting in regardless. Thank you for not musking me, kind sir. Hate garter snake musk, maybe more than any other musk. Here you go, dude. Oh my God. What? Holy crap. Look at that. Holy crap. That is a brood of freshly born timber rattlesnake babies and their mom. What on earth? It's gonna be hard to put this log back down. That is insane. Just wow. We really don't want to disturb these guys any more than we already have, but that is incredible. I'm gonna try to put the log down as safely as I can. I'm gonna have to probably move a few of them out first. There truly might not be anything better other than the first warm day of spring than the first cool day in the fall. It is just beautiful out here. And I haven't seen that much other than the rattlesnakes and the garter. Really, I haven't seen anything else, but that's okay, because it just feels great to be outside for the first time since May. Maybe June. We had a few nice days in June. But I've mostly been cruising around for the last few hours waiting for the evening to come. I'm about to start flipping again, and hopefully we'll see a few more snakes. Oh my God. No. 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 It's August. It's August. Why is there a mole king? Oh my God, that is the most insane. I don't even have words for this right now. It is the heat of the day in August, and for some reason, I just flipped a mole king under a board that's been here less than a year. What? That is so insane. It's deep in shed, but I'm not even a little bit mad about that. It's so warm. This board is so warm to the touch. I really cannot believe that just happened. I am so shook right now. I mean, what? Come here. What even? Like, what? I can't even believe this. That is so ridiculous. I really just... It looks like a solid colored giant worm snake because it's in shed, but I assure you that is one of the coolest things, one of the rarest things I have ever found in North Georgia. The first time I've ever flipped a mole king snake in Georgia that was not in my yard. Unbelievable. It is legitimately hard to comprehend that that just happened. I consider August to be easily the worst non-winter month of the year, and even with winter months included, I consider it to be the second worst month of the year, second only to November. However, the fantastic weather we've had has just been, I mean, it's been more than generous today. I haven't seen that many snakes, but the snakes I have seen have been incredible. A brood of fresh-born baby timber rattlesnakes, a mole king, and one garter snake. That is genuinely difficult to believe that I'm really looking at that right now. Like I said, the first time I have ever flipped one of these snakes in North Georgia outside of my yard, just to give you an idea of just how rare they are. And I've only really flipped a couple in the yard, like maybe 5 ever. And it's such a shame it's in shed, but obviously I'd rather find this snake in shed than not at all. So I'll get some quick photos, not much to photograph, but just some voucher photos, and then we'll let him slip back under his board. That is unreal. I'm so glad I actually stopped and flipped this too, because I wasn't going to check it because it hasn't been out very long. And really the only reason I stopped is because there was a truck in front of me that was just absolutely kicking up so much dust. I had to get out from behind him. So I pulled off to check this board. Here you go, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you again freshly shed one day. All right, final flip at the spot. A racer? A giant racer. I want to catch this thing because it's so big, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. All right, hang tight, brother. This thing is massive. What have you eaten? Ow! How are you this beefy? Apparently this spot is just awesome and needs more boards. All right, let's put this back. No biting my face, please. I am impressed by how impressive you are. You're big and muddy and handsome. You've made me bleed. Respect. All right, big muddy racer with a belly full of probably mole king. We'll let him go and head on to our next spot. You feel that brisk breeze is picking up. It feels fantastic out here. Literally feels like mid to late October and it's August. Oh, hello. That's another gravid timber. Oh my goodness. Well, it took a while, but there's another timber. This one looks to be gravid and hasn't dropped her babies yet, so we might leave this one alone as much as possible and come back in another week or two. Holy crap though, what a day we're having. All right, here's a look at this snake in all its glory. I'm just gonna lower this down. She is hot and upset. Hopefully we can come back in another week and see her with her babies. A big racer. Second big racer of the day. Hello, dude. Well, we're actually finding some common snakes now, not just all quality. I'm always happy to see racers, and honestly, I don't see that many of them here. I see them occasionally, but they're not nearly as common as rattlesnakes. Weirdly enough. We'll just leave that guy to it. A couple more things to check, and then we'll call it a day. All right. What's going on here today? Besides briars in my leg. Hello. I thought I saw a coil sticking out under the edge there. Nice to see I wasn't tripping. God, that's a nice one. Holy crap, very cane breaky. I'm gonna try to get a photo of this thing. This one honestly looks like it's gravid too. I really cannot believe how many timbers we found today. And this one wasn't here a few weeks ago. God, what a beautiful snake. The stripe on that one is just so vibrant. And she's got a bad eye on that far side. But based on how much skin is showing between the scales there on that back end, I'm gonna guess this snake is also gravid. So we'll just gently lower this piece, try to come back in a couple weeks. Very, very nice. Timber rattlesnake. It's the third adult of the day. I can't remember how many babies. All right, everybody, we're about to call it a day. However, I've got to beat my way through this absolute maze of head-high vegetation to find copperhead board, which we will then flip as our last flip. Last time we flipped copperhead board, it had a kingsnake under it, so I can't expect we'll get that lucky today, but let's see. Nothing. Somebody's been sitting there though. They're not there right now. Good morning, everybody from far north Georgia. Is that a tick on my leg? No, just another bug. Anyways, it is the first outing of September. I think today is like the second. Is today the second or the first? It's the second. So, second day of September, we're going to be hitting the woods with Hunter today.
What's up?
In search of mostly timber rattlesnakes, but really anything we can turn up because this is a very diverse part of the state. So, plenty of cool things to be found here. Hopefully we'll turn up a few of them today. Let's get to it.
I can't believe I'm passing away already.
Not super weathered, but... Oh, corn! Nice, dude.
What's up, big guy? Or mildly...
Medium guy?
Medium guy?
Medium dark guy? Nice, dude.
Nice.
Quick turnaround on that. I mean, it's, you know, an in-shed corn snake, but... These montane corn snakes are something else when they're in shed. I mean, that is like hardly recognizable as a corn snake because of just how dark it is. But very, very cool. Nice start to the day. And this is our first snake of September. So nice start to the month with a decent find. We'll just put him back in his tin stack and continue on. Hopefully there's plenty more to come today. It is nice and cool today compared to what it's normally like this time of year. So we're gonna find out. So we're sitting here looking at this caterpillar, and I turn around to start walking the other direction, and I see a worm snake on the crawl. That's got to be like one of the weirdest things I've ever found that's got to be maybe the single weirdest snake to see just crawling around during the daytime like that. All right, little guy, we'll leave you to your daytime worm snake behavior. That's what I saw. He was just flopping along like that. Being a bark guy. That was super strange.
I want it to be winter.
He's calling for winter.
Are we serious right now?
Go on. Man, it's real bug season out here. Look at this guy, or lady more likely. Hello. All right, stopped to look at this creek and found a nice little black-bellied salamander. This is actually kind of an uncommon salamander in the Piedmont. We're not actually in the Blue Ridge right now, so this is a Piedmont blackbelly. But very, very big desmogs. You can see he's actually got some scarring there on his back end, probably from fighting with other salamanders, but potentially from a predator. Either way, nice addition to the list for the day, and this is the first one I have ever found in this area, so pretty neat. All right, Hunter just flipped a little neonate brown snake. I think this is this year's baby. They grow really fast. You can tell he's kind of got a different pattern as a juvenile. They kind of start out almost looking like a ring neck with that bold ring around their neck, and then they grow out of it within a year or two. It's definitely starting to cool off a little bit this afternoon. We're gonna do a little evening tin flipping and then night cruise.
Tris?
Yeah.
That looks like an unflippable.
No, it's flippable. It's light. It's a box spring.
Jesus Christ. Go herping with Noah Fields. They said there's a box turtle in there, dude.
What? Is he
There's
stuck?
a box turtle in there.
He's got to be stuck, right?
You want me to hold that?
I got it. He's dead, dude. It's just a shell. He got stuck in there. That's crazy.
Sucks.
Well, that is an exceptionally red little American toad. I mean, he is kind of ridiculous. A lot of times we see bigger females that are kind of red, but that is just like a neon red little dude. Very nice. All right, everybody. Well, it has been a fairly unproductive day goofing around in the woods with Hunter, and we're getting ready to do a little bit of kind of chilly night cruising. It's getting to be that time of year where the temps drop pretty fast after dark, especially with the early onset of fall we're having this year. So we're going to give it a shot. Maybe there will be a few things out. We will see.
Oh, let's go!
Hunter Hughley, first North Georgia timber. At least
beautiful.
that's not a, not a montane timber. This is Hunter's first North Georgia cane. Look at that.
That's so awesome.
Man, we were thinking we were going to get goose egg too, and then this guy pops up. So sick. So this was definitely one of the big targets for this outing. Hunter has wanted to see a North Georgia timber, or more like a North Georgia canebrake, from outside of the true montane populations for a long time. So big find. This is actually my first one from this county as well. So pretty big find for both of us tonight. And you can see that tail end of the snake is just ever so slightly montane timber looking. Just you would not see a snake that looked quite like that on the back end in the coastal plain. But a beautiful animal. We'll get some photos. All right, guys, this beautiful snake is off the road. We're going to keep it moving and see if we can get a pygmy too. We don't know for sure that there's pygmies on this road, but the habitat's just too good for them to not be here. So we're going to get back to it. What a really great first snake of the night, though, to highlight an otherwise fairly slow day here in North Georgia. That tail is just fantastic. Look how far down the stripe goes. All right, everyone. Well, we've been cruising for several more hours. It's getting late, and we have seen nothing else. What a weird day. We started off with a decent find with the corn snake, and then ended with a great find in the form of a beautiful timber in a new area for both me and Hunter. That's fall herping for you, though. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's a little hit or miss, and sometimes you get great and hit or miss in the same day. So that being said, I'm going to start the long drive home. Either way, I will see you guys next time I get out.